What's up, my friend? Jen Ho, your Fit Realtor, Realty One Group Impact. Welcome to another chapter of Common Real Estate Terms. Today, we're going to talk about closing date, or more specifically, how to set closing date. So, what is a closing date? Closing date is basically the day that the buyer gets possession of the house, the day the buyer signs all the paperwork, get the keys to the house. And it is also on the flip side the day that sellers give up possession of the house, give up the key of the house, change the title work over, as well as hopefully getting the proceeds from the sale of the home. So, what is important to set a closing date? What's important in setting a closing date? So, typically, it depends on a few factors. It could be the first common factor would be an all cash scenario where the buyer comes in and there's no loan involved. It's just straight up cash. In that sense, it will depend on two things. One would be how soon the seller wants to be out, and then the next thing is how soon attorneys can close on the paperwork, can finish up the title work and things like that. That is at least in Iowa. So, well, I guess the third thing will be depending on how soon the buyer wants to close on the home. So, that is, typically, I want to say the shortest time frame will be about 3 weeks. That could happen, it does happen. It could be slightly shorter, but maybe. Now, the more common scenario is somebody buying with a loan. There's a banker involved, or there's a lender involved, there's another person involved, so it will take extra time. There's extra paperwork involved, there's more credit checks and things like that. So it typically will take, I would recommend at least 30 days. It could go all the way up to 60 days. In certain cases, it could be a little more than that too. Now, when you set closing date, there is something to keep in mind. Closing date is a date that everybody shoots for. Everybody aims to close on that date, but it could also happen that you do not close on time. It does happen, and it is fairly common, so keep that in mind. Now, how do you set closing date? Typically, for me, for my clients, what I will do is set it about the third week of the month. Why? Now, think about this. If you are renting a house or renting an apartment and things like that, you want time to move out of the place and to move into the new place, but you also want time to be able to kind of clean up, pack up, get everything out, and be able to move in, right? So what I typically do, either Tuesday, sometime between Tuesday to Thursday, third week of the month. That way you do have the weekend to move. So for instance, I will set like a Thursday of the third week to close on the home, and then once that's closed, you have the weekend to move. One big weekend, a big U-Haul truck, 2 men in the truck, anything like that. Move over to the new home, unpack the necessities, toiletries, maybe some frozen pizza, drinks, things like that, but not totally unpack. Bed sheets, so that you can sleep and you can eat. And then what you want to do, clean up your apartment, clean up your home that you're renting, that you just got up from, and you have the week to finish off, because typically rent is due on the first, and you do not want to go past that first of the month and pay a whole month's rent without using the place. So that's how I typically advise my client to set closing dates. 30 days or the third week of the month. So there you go, that's closing date. Let me know if you have any questions. Talk to your realtor about setting up your closing date, or you can always call me. Jeho Realtor signing out.